everyone, and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very excited because I have an awesome guest joining me for this episode. Recently, Living Dead Girl released a new single entitled Poison Me, plus performed at Upheaval and announced a new album, Conspiracy, set to be released on October 10th. Please welcome the vocalist for Living Dead Girl, Molly Rennick.
Hi.
It's very nice to have you back on the podcast. Obviously, as I mentioned in the intro, you guys have been very busy lately with everything.
It's been a busy month or so, yeah.
For sure. So, and obviously very cool. I actually got to see Living Dead Girl live for the first time very recently on this tour. So it was awesome. You guys performed a killer show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So I'm kind of curious. So like for the most recent tour, how did everything go?
Oh, it was great. Every show went very well. It was a lot of fun.
Right on. And obviously big highlight was Upheaval. So how was that?
Upheaval was awesome. We were very fortunate. It actually started raining and part of the festival was canceled while we were evacuated. And we had just gotten off stage when that happened. So I felt like we got very lucky that day that we were still able to perform.
Oh, for sure. So I'm glad. Obviously, you guys were able to perform with everything, and the weather held off at least for your guys' set. So with that, I did want to transition because obviously the music side, you guys have been very busy with that, with Poison Me, and of course the new album set to release in October. So I'm kind of curious. Can you give any hints of what people can expect from Conspiracy, or is Poison Me a good indication?
I feel like Poison Me definitely does set the tone for this new album well. It's a great lead single to be the introductory to it. I would say that if you liked Exorcism, you will love Conspiracy because no hate against Exorcism, but I feel like Conspiracy is a much stronger album. I feel like Exorcism built the foundation for us, and then with Conspiracy we started there and jumped off of it. So Conspiracy is a lot more intense. It's bigger, bolder, heavier, better vocals. I feel like it's our best work yet.
Well, I'm very excited to check it out. Obviously, it's still a few months away, but I've enjoyed Poison Me, the most recent single, because it has obviously it has a Living Dead Girl vibe to it, but it seems like just a little bit of a different direction for you guys as well.
Yeah, that's the best way I would describe the album too, is it still sounds like Living Dead Girl. We didn't, change genres or do anything completely drastic, but it is a bit of a different tone or kind of a different mood for us.
Oh, for sure. And definitely, that just comes with obviously as a band, kind of growing and maturing and changing with everything. Cause it's about let's see, Exorcism was 2021.
Yeah.
So, obviously 4 years, that's a lot of time.
Yeah. And we started recording Exorcism in 2019. So it's actually been 6 years for us at this point.
Oh, wow. So kind of curious. So with writing and recording Exorcism, was it a different experience for writing and recording Conspiracy?
Definitely, because with Exorcism, that was my first album. I didn't have the same amount of studio experience or really any live experience. I was very, very new and fresh at this. So with Exorcism, it took a little bit longer. We still plowed through the whole album pretty quickly. When I got to the studio and worked with our producer, Mitch, it was very easy to work with them and everything. But coming back this second time as a more experienced artist, we were just tearing through songs so fast. Some songs were honestly written, recorded in one day. They were just coming so naturally and so easily.
Right on. This definitely sounds like a more smoother experience, with the Conspiracy for you guys, that you were able to obviously write and record songs and, create songs very easily and quickly.
Yeah, I feel like I had a lot of things built up that I was ready to write lyrics about because it had been so long. I already had a stockpile of ideas in my brain just ready to go.
Oh, right on. So with this album, Conspiracy, what was for you, what did you learn in Exorcism that carried over to writing and recording Conspiracy?
I feel like one of the biggest things for myself as a songwriter is I've learned don't force it. If a song is coming to me really easily and it's just flowing and I feel like I'm not writing the lyrics, I feel like I'm finding them. I feel like they're already in my brain and I'm just discovering them as I go. When songs are coming really naturally and very easily, it's always the best songs. But if I get a bit of a writer's block or I get stumped on a part or I'm not sure how I feel about a song, throw it in the garbage and start over. So I feel like I've learned like my lesson is to just like pick what comes naturally.
Right. I mean, it is, obviously very important to know, like, what is going to work, what's not going to work. And if you
Hmm.
force anything, then it's not going to come off like quite exactly how, either you plan or what, people might like. So I think it's very important to know like what to pursue and what not to pursue.
Yeah, I feel like if the song is happening really quickly, it's because it was like meant to be. Whereas if I'm trying to force something, like that song doesn't need to exist.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, I know, obviously in this tour, I heard some unreleased songs as well at the show. So I'm definitely excited for the album because it just, sounds just really awesome and really like just natural too with it. Like you're not obviously not forcing anything, but it
Mhm.
just like I've been really digging the music from what I've heard so far.
Thank you very much.
So kind of with that, so like talking like with the challenges of writing and recording, was there any like particular song off Conspiracy that was like either like the most challenging or did everything flow pretty nicely for you guys?
I would say the most challenging song was probably Brainwashed, and you will understand when you hear it. That one is a very different sound for us. We went a lot heavier on that song than we normally do, and I felt like kind of out of my element doing it. Like my band members all love heavier music, like even heavier stuff than I listen to. So with that particular one, we had to kind of go back and we like redid the chorus. Like after we heard the first mix, we like changed the guitar riff and everything in the chorus because we were like, all right, the verses and the chorus sound like two different songs glued together and not in a cool way. And then there were clean vocals in the song, like an entire melody line that we completely scrapped. So the entire song is just screaming. And we had to do like a lot of tweaks like that to like really commit to it. I was like, if this is the heavy song, we need to fully commit to it. So that song was challenging for me because I kind of do like the mixture of metal and pop music and the more hooky, chorusy songs. So to do one really heavy song kind of like threw me a bit.
Well, I'm definitely excited to check it out, especially like do you think this is the most heavy like the heaviest song on the album?
Oh, heaviest song we've ever done.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It kind of
I'm
just came out of nowhere. I just was like, I want one super angry, super heavy song.
right on. Well, I'm definitely excited to check it out. So for you, so obviously like with your band members, I've met and chatted with a few of them at the show, but like so for their music taste compared to like your music taste, so how was it kind of adapting to more of a like a heavier music style?
It was weird because I had to keep asking their opinions. I'm like, well, what do you think about this? Because I kept saying, you guys know better in this area than I do. Like, I do listen to heavy music, obviously, but they listen to a lot, like, even heavier than I do. So there was like some like aspects of it that I was like, does this work? Does this sound good? I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's very good, with a band to have that kind of, like feedback and input from other band members. That way, you can know if you're on track or not. So,
Yeah.
like with this song, was this like the song that changed the most from like when you and the band first conceived it to like what is the finished product, or is there like another song that changed more?
Honestly, Poison Me was pretty like deconstructed and glued back together a few times. I'm not even gonna lie. When I heard the first mix of Poison Me, I didn't really like it. And we had to like rebuild it a little bit. Like we kind of like Frankenstein it. The original mix was over 6 minutes long, which right off the bat, I was like, this is not going to be a radio song by any means. This is just going to be a weirdly long song. There was like a super long intro, and there was kind of like in between each line in the chorus, there was like a full guitar riff. And then after the chorus, there was like this whole like chanty gang vocal choir kind of part. And I listened to the mix a few times and I was like, I am not feeling this. So like we went back and like cut so many chunks out and rearranged things and kind of like re-glued the chorus back together. And now I think it's like our best song ever. So, like it's encouraging to know that you can always like rework something if it's not working.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of music and art. Well, art in and of itself is that you have that option and possibility to change things in case if you don't like it, and there's options to rework it. Which I mean, I think Poison Me definitely one of the strongest Living Dead Girl songs. It's probably the strongest one, especially right now that I've listened to, because it just feels like the flow is just so nice. It just like the whole song just flows like from beginning to end.
Yeah, I really like the melody of that song. I think it's although it's a heavy song, it still sounds pretty.
Oh, for sure, and it comes through very nicely. So I'm glad, with the reworks and everything, that this is the final song people get to listen to compared to like what you were describing earlier. Because obviously, it definitely would not have been a radio song at that point.
No, no one wants to listen to the same song for 6 minutes on the radio.
Yeah, not for the radio audience. No, definitely not. But it does kind of lead me. I did want to talk about the music video for "Poison Me" because you guys like DIY'd that entire set.
Yes, it was completely built by us.
So like how did that go? Like obviously there's no instructions for a set like that. So how was it coming up with that?
So thankfully, my husband Steve was able to just dream it up and make it happen. Like he knew in his brain how to do it. I don't know how he came up with this, so we're very grateful that he did. But basically, we were looking at renting a rain studio, and they were charging like $4,000. But I was so dead set on the idea of having us performing in the rain because I really wanted to do it. I was even thinking, could we just wait until a day it rains and quickly go film outside? But then we were like, oh, but it could, be a whole thing. Like it could be like patchy in some spots where it could start and stop. Or what if there actually is lightning? Maybe we shouldn't be standing outside with a bunch of metal gear. So, we were kind of just trying to find a way to work around it. And then so Steve basically built like a giant wooden frame big enough for us all to stand under. And he put PVC piping through it and drilled holes in it. And then we connected 2 hoses to it. So it was basically like a sprinkler on stilts. And then we just put black fabric all along the back and put blue lights. And it also just worked out very well that he happens to do underwater photography. So all of his lights, his camera, everything's already waterproof. So I felt like that video was very like meant to be for us.
Oh, for sure. And definitely like just, describing the behind the scenes, like you wouldn't know like anything you described was like that, actually what came through in the music video because it looks so like professional and like an actual set. Like you guys did a great job with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad it did work as well as it did because even while Steve was building it, he kept saying to me, this might look like shit. And he kept giving me like a realistic expectation. He's like, it's not going to look like what you're picturing. It's going to look like we built a set in our backyard because we did. And he kept saying it's going to look cheap. And then when we did it and we filmed the video and we were all watching the footage, we're like, what are you talking about? This doesn't look cheap.
Oh no, not a lot. He did a fantastic job with it, and like obviously if I didn't hear that in the previous interview, I would have thought you guys like went to like a professional studio or like some type of like sound stage to have like that kind of quality.
And it worked out so much better that we were able to film it at home and not a studio because like we were all sopping wet. And then we could just run back into my house. And thankfully we live in Florida, so it's tile floor. We would all just run back into my house and each split off to a different bathroom and ran to go shower. Whereas if we were at a studio, we would have had to get back in the car and drive home. So it was like a lot easier to do it at home. And we kept running back inside to grab things and change our shoes and fix our hair and do stuff. Like it was a lot easier being at home.
Oh, for sure. Definitely way more convenient with everything. No one wants to drive home like soaking wet. I've had to do that before and it's not fun.
And then you'd have like garbage bags full of wet clothes and everything. The only thing is everyone tracked mud all throughout my house. And I swear I was cleaning it for 3 days. So that was the only thing that was annoying. And we filmed it the day before my birthday. So literally on my birthday, I was like cleaning everyone's mud out of my living room. But other than that, it was very convenient.
Outside of that, yeah, like, well, no one wants to do any cleaning on their birthday anyway. So,
no. And everyone just trashed my house. That's fine.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunate side effect of that, but I'm glad that it's worth it for the art and music video.
Yeah, worth it.
So now I got just a few more things before we head out. So I've seen the artwork for Conspiracy. I love it. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
How did that concept, how did that whole like concept and artwork come about?
It's the most random story ever. I was with Steve on a cargo plane in the Arctic because we were going up to do a project up north. He does them a lot. I've only gone with him twice, where you just like work with kids like in schools on like reses, and we just like do art programs. So we were on a like scary little plane ride. And I was trying to distract myself because I was freaked out because I kept thinking, what if this plane crashes? Because my brain likes to go to worst case scenario on everything. So I was trying to distract myself and I started thinking, what should my new album cover look like? And then I started picturing it. So I pulled out my phone and just went on like PixArt and I put it together with clip art and was showing it to Steve going, let's make this. So then we had to figure out, okay, what pieces could we photograph ourselves? What parts had to be Photoshopped? Some parts are illustrated and some parts I had like a digital tablet where I actually like drew it. So it's a very like multimedia piece that we both collaborated on together. But as I went, I kept thinking of more things to add to it. I was like, we need a UFO. There's little aliens hidden throughout it. There's like military and like army people like throughout it with like guns and everything. Like the more you zoom in, the more details you see.
Well, it turned out incredible. I was looking at it last night, and as you were talking about, like where you focus on, there's just there's something going on that you didn't see the first time. So like I looked at it the first time, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then I started looking at it more. I was like, okay, I see that detail. I see that detail. It's very detailed, and it's just so cool with
Thank you.
everything.
Yeah, when you just see it like on Facebook, you kind of miss a lot of it. But I wanted something that had a ton of tiny details. So specifically for the vinyl, like once it's printed this big, you're gonna really be able to see all the details.
So, but now as starting to close this out, so like I'm curious. So we talked a lot about like the writing and recording side of conspiracy. So I'm kind of curious for like you. Do you approach like writing and recording music differently than performing live?
I feel like, yeah, the studio is very much like we're having fun, we're joking around, we're just kind of let's see what happens. Whereas like live, you're very much in a different headspace, very locked in, very serious. It almost feels like a ritual. It's like I have to do this, this, and this. I got to stretch first. I got to warm up. It's very much like I don't know how to say it other than like a ritual. Like it's just like a routine. Like it's like I got to check off all the boxes and be really locked in, really focused. Whereas in the studio, like I'm just sitting there in my pajamas eating Ben and Jerry's, writing lyrics with my friends, and it's just a very different approach.
Oh, for sure. And I've seen you guys live. You guys, it's very like more physical with everything. You got some choreography with a few things, so it's definitely obviously a very different side of music. Performing live compared to recording in a studio.
Yeah, the studio's a lot more laid back than live.
Oh, for sure. You guys definitely bring a fantastic live show. I was digging out everything you guys were doing with everything. So it's definitely, as I said, very physical, but also very cool, very interactive. Plus, some people switch instruments every so often.
Yeah, we just started doing that on this tour, and it's so much fun. We're going to have to keep it up.
Oh, for sure. I very much so kind of curious. So like with like switching the bass and drums. Whose idea was that? Who came up with that?
I forget if it was Jordan or Steve's in the first place, but it was one of the two, and they said it kind of as a joke. I think Steve said something like, "This song is so easy on drums, I bet Jordan could play it." Like making a joke that you don't even have to be a drummer to play it or something. And then Jordan was like, "Could I play it?" And then Steve was like, "Yeah, let's just trade instruments." And it just became a thing. Like I think we were kind of joking about it, and then we just started doing it.
All right. Well, it's a great aspect and feature of the live show for sure.
Thank you. I was hesitant about it at first. I was like, you guys are going to look dumb. And then they did it and they pulled it off perfectly. And I was like, okay, now I approve it. Now we can do it. I had
No,
to
they definitely pulled it off very nice. And honestly, if someone just watched like that, like just came in for like one show, like or that one like song, they would not know that like that was not the bassist or the drummer.
Yeah, exactly. They would just assume they both knew what they were doing.
Exactly. All right, so now as we're closing out this interview, so what's kind of like the rest of the plans for Living Dead Girl for the rest of 2025?
So we just announced our album release party for Conspiracy. So the day that the album comes out, October 10th, we're going to be performing in Orlando, Florida. We're going to be doing like a very different set list than we normally do. We're going to pull some songs out of the vault that we don't normally play live, as well as some of the brand new ones are going to make their live debut. And we're playing with our friends in Phantom Limbs, Dancing with Ghosts, and Werewolves. So awesome lineup. Very excited about that. We've got some more singles coming out, some more music videos coming out. Not that I feel like I can top the Poison Me video, but we have a couple more music videos coming out this year and starting to book touring for next year.
Well, very nice. Some awesome plans for the rest of this year and, of course, into early next year. I saw the album release show. Looks like a fantastic lineup. So I hope everything goes well with that as well. So now, as we're for everyone watching, where are the best places to find Living Dead Girl online and pre-order the upcoming album?
So we have an official website, livingdeadgirl.ca. So it's .ca, not .com, because it's the Canadian version of .com. So livingdeadgirl.ca, you can pre-order CDs, vinyl, merch bundles, all of that stuff. Our tour dates are also always on there, so you can check and you can stay updated with our email notifications, just in case you miss Facebook or Instagram posts. But we do also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Living Dead Girl Official, YouTube, Living Dead Girl Official, and all that stuff.
Very good. I will leave some links for Living Dead Girl in the description of this podcast, along with the pre-order for Conspiracy. But please check out and support Living Dead Girl. As I said, Conspiracy will be available October 10th with some links in the description. But Molly, thank you so much for chatting with me. It was awesome to catch up with you.
Having me, yeah.
Of course, for Molly Living Dead Girl, I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.